Hello. Welcome everyone to the live stream. This is your host Sagar Shah, and I hope that you can all hear me very soon. You'll also be able to see me on your screen. But for now, we are watching these two amazing Indian champions playing here. We just saw Gukesh and Prag in action at the tournament in Norway, and now it's time to witness Arjun Erigaisi in action. That's amazing to see. A warm welcome to everyone in the chat here. And guys, what are you most excited for in the UzChess Cup? Like, what is it about this tournament that you will follow it for in the next few days? What about this event is something that you are looking forward to? Would love to know your thoughts. Arjun versus Hans, I'm excited. Okay, VD comeback. Arjun winning this tournament. Vidit comeback incoming. Okay, guys. Hello. Welcome, everyone. And we are watching this game between Vidit Gujrathi and Shakhriyar Mamedyarov. And we'll also look at the game of Arjun Erigaisi in a bit. And here you can see the bars. Thanks to Rakshit Bhai, who has been a very big support to us. There we have all 5 games on your screen. The players attacking chess is what Polniak is looking forward to. I think Vidit is going to play well here. Yeah, like he looks pretty relaxed. He has a pretty interesting position. It's a very complex game against Shakhriyar Mamedyarov. Let's have a look at this position right now to understand what exactly is going on, because I think a lot of things are happening right now, and maybe we have to break this down properly to understand so many things. Like, for example, let's look at it a bit deeply. So with it playing with the black pieces, should we take it from the start? With it playing with the black pieces, d4, knight f6, knight f3, d5, and c3. This move order is becoming more and more popular in the present day, and I think the reason for that is that a lot of people want to play the London system, and they, before putting their bishop out to f4, they want to avoid c5 line, because if you play c5, I can now take this pawn. So with it, very calmly plays a5. And I think this is a line that maybe he has seen it in somewhere, and he has maybe not prepared it very deeply, but he's thought about it. Bishop f4. And now he brings his bishop out to f5. Okay. I mean, queen b3 is possible. And here, Vidit could also defend this pawn with his rook because he's moved the pawn to a5. Okay. e3 played. Now we have the London system set up here. London is being seen in so many top level chess. Okay, e6, pushing the pawn forward, opening up the bishop. He plays bishop e2. He does not trade his bishop with bishop d3, because he's like, let me put my bishop on e2 and let's see what happens next. We have bishop d6 offering a trade. He takes it. And now, do you take with the queen or with the pawn? What's your choice, guys? What would be your choice? What is the point of a5? Well, I think in general, just gaining space and waiting for white to show his cards, and a generally useful move, I think. This is my feeling. And if the queen ever comes to b3, then later you can kick it away a little bit with a4. Aksh Gujral says, take it with the queen. True. I think that's the right move, Aksh. And queen, good old human being. Rohan, well done. Queen takes d6 is the correct move. I mean, c takes is also possible, but queen takes was taken. Castles, I would also castle here, but Vidit goes knight d7. Pawn to c4 by Mamedyarov. And now Mamedyarov could be threatening to push his pawn forward. So Vidit plays pawn to c6, being very solid. Knight comes out to c3, h6. I mean, if you castled, I believe Vidit was a bit worried about knight h4, trying to win the bishop. So he played h6, getting a square for his bishop here. cd, and now do you take with the c pawn? Okay, this is a clear-cut case of a one move being better than the others. Knight takes. Which one would you recapture with, guys? Go for it. What move would you recapture with on d5? Nepo versus, Nepo is losing against Madamino. Oh my goodness, we'll go to that game. That is insane. Jan Nepomniachtchi losing. That has to be one of the big upsets of the round. Of course, the C pawn says Pranay. E pawn says Tanmay. Rohan says CD. I personally think in this position, I would take with the E pawn. Shahana boy, well done. Reyansh Venkat. Yes, ED is what I would play more than imbalance. I feel like this is a good structure for black. Because if you take CD, one square becomes weak in the position. Guys, which square has been weakened in black camp? Can you tell me? What square looks weak? Let's see how many of you are positional players here and understand positional chess deeply. Yes, Arsh 507, Tanmay Kashyap, Amit Kumar, Rohan, very good. Priyampal, Shaurya Maheshwari, Dhruv, yes, b5 square becomes weak. And that is not something that Vidit wants. So he took with the e-pawn. He's positionally really strong. He won't make such errors. Knight h4 attacking the bishop. And now I was a bit surprised by Vidit's decision. He dropped the bishop back here. Although he could have very well pushed his bishop back to h7. And that was a fine move. He came here. Bishop d3. Now Mamedyarov takes this square in control. Vidit plays b5. Somehow, Vidit is not castling here. I would have castled here, but b5 played. And now rook c1. Castles finally. And knight to f5. I mean, you can't allow that knight to stay there. It's a very powerful knight. So he takes. Bishop takes. And, well, already this position looks very dangerous for Vidit. The reason is this pawn on c6 is a weakness. The c5 square is weak. So I don't know what Vidit has on his mind exactly here. Why did he play this? Maybe he's looking for pushing c5 somewhere. b4 is met with knight a4 and sitting on the c5 square. I'm not so sure. He went rook e8, slightly improving his position, but Mamedyarov is better. Knight e2 by Shakhriyar. And you can see that the grandmasters have this amazing sense of where the weaknesses are. Guys, what is a weak square in this position? I'm going to make you an expert at identifying weaknesses in chess. So where is the weakness in this position? Can you find it? Can you let me know where is the weakness in this position? And I want to kind of help you understand that a little bit more in depth. Yes, C5. Tanmay Kashyap, Priyam Pal, Tushar Sharma, Pranay, very good, very good. C5 square is a weakness. It's a big weakness on the C5 square, and Vidit has to be very, very careful about this. So he played the move Rook C8, and the idea of Mamedyarov is Knight F4, Knight D3, maybe looking at the C5 square. He goes Rook C8, self pinning here, Knight to F4, and now Vidit goes Rook C7, ace, Queen D2, attacking the A5 pawn. I think you have to play A4. He plays pawn to B4 here, Queen D3, and now did Vidit actually push his pawn to C5? Actually, I don't like C5 so much, because C5, I thought bishop takes D7. Oh, but I may have an intermezzo C4. Because if I take knight D7, then DC, and then the D5 pawn is weak. He played C5. Wow. Okay, here's the point. Here's the point of Vidit. If bishop takes D7, the move that he wants to play. Let's go, guys. How many of you can find it? Black to play. Laksha Adalakha says, Sagar bhai, from when will you be in Charlotte? I'm also planning, most likely around 1st or 2nd of July is when I'll be there. Yes, definitely we can meet there. Winner of last year's UzChess Cup isn't playing because he was in Norway chess. Yes, Tanmay Kashyap, well done. C5 is not that weakness, I think, because we can defend the queen. No, but the main thing was, if you are careless here and you take with the knight, then after d takes C5, you're going to lose the pawn on D5. So that's the reason why it is very, very important and essential. Priyam Pal, Arsh Sharma, Tanmay Kashyap, Aryan, Malay Mohanta, Shefali Singh, Tushar Sharma to play the move C4. Fantastic move. Intermezzo, and then pick this up. So Mamedyarov had to take, and now Vidit quickly jumps in and takes with the knight, but Shakhriyar had his next move prepared, queen to B5. And with this, he's eyeing the rook on E8, although it's protected, but it's slightly weakened. A5 pawn is hanging. And so Vidit now has to be very careful how to continue here. Do you save this A5 pawn? Do you not save it? I mean, Queen A6 looks tempting, but it's a huge blunder, guys. Quickly, white to play and win. What do you do here? White to play and win. And I have a normal latency today. It's not ultra low, so I can't get the answers very quickly, but okay, I'll be patient. Ayush Gupta, thanks a lot for the Karokan course. It's my morning routine now, improving so much. Thank you, Ayush bhai. Laksha Adalakha, if you can just write to me on Chessbase India, contact at chessbase.in, that would be wonderful, and then can get back to you. Yes, absolutely correct. We have Tanmay, Rahul, Karthi, Maxstaff, Lim, Pranay, Priyam, Tushar, Pawan, Asanka, Ashutosh, Ayush. Boom! Rook takes C5. And now, if I take the queen, you take with the rook. If I take here, you take here. So that's the reason why Vidit comes up with a crazy move here. Boom, D4. He pushes the pawn and he tells Shakhriyar that, okay, if you want to capture this pawn, I am actually taking. Wow, this is getting very complex. He takes here. So once again, if I take here, D takes E3, I believe, is the move, yeah, that Vidit has going for. D takes E3, F takes E3, because the knight was hanging. And is Vidit aiming to take here? Because then B4 is hanging. Whoa, it's such a complicated position, and what a complex decision by Vidit. I understand. Oh, no, I don't understand. Okay, let's say I take queen takes B4, right? I mean, at the very least, but there's also something stronger here. It's a completely terrible move that I've played here. I mean, rook FD1 should be very strong, I guess. Oh, sorry. Oh, F4 is hanging. F4 is hanging. Sorry. So what's the problem here? Maybe queen A8 is just finishing, yeah? Queen A8, but rook E8? Wow, this is a maybe there's something really crazy here. Oh my goodness. Is it knight D5? Wow. Because if knight takes D5, queen A8 check. Guys, this is a great tactic, right? Knight takes knight D5. Oh, wow. I found it. Knight D5 is the move. Let's go. Forking here. Knight takes D5, queen A8 check. If queen takes D5, queen takes C7 is the move. Whew. Wow. That's amazing. So that's the reason why here, I don't know what he played. Did this happen? No. Shakhriyar Mamedyarov did not play. He played knight H5. And now Vidit Gujrathi is in big trouble because knight takes H5, E8 rook is hanging. Okay, I'm just wondering now. Let's see what's the move here. Vidit's best move might well be to move this rook. Maybe rook d8, but then knight f6, queen f6, c5 is hanging, c8 square is not under control. He played the move rook e5. And with this move, he's defending c5, he's attacking f5. But now, there could be some potential tactics that Vidit is not. Maybe what about e takes d4? Because that attacks here and here. And if queen takes d4, I have queen b8 check. And if rook e8, I take on c7. No, what? Wait a second. E takes d4, what's the point of Vidit? What is Vidit aiming for? E takes d4, queen takes d4, queen b8 check. Maybe he wants knight e8 here, defending the rook. Ooh. Nice. Nice. Priyam says take knight f6. But Priyam, oh, maybe take, and ed. But then, oh yeah, knight. By the way, what happens to knight f6? Queen f6, queen b8 check, right? And then pick this up. Yeah. Okay, by the way, this is great, Priyam. Knight f6. So you have to take with the pawn because queen f6 is just game over. I mean, I was thinking I'll check and pick up the rook, but it's checkmate. It's checkmate. Exactly. So knight f6 is a great move. I mean, ed4 was also possible. In fact, it's not a bad idea at all. Queen d4, knight f6, gf6, queen b8 check and take here. Oh my god. Rook e5 is... I think Mamedyarov is going to now just figure this out, right? Let's just go full screen here and try to see what's happening. Maybe I can make this into 2 rows, right? The bars. So then people can see it and there is good space. Right now in one bar, it's too much info. So I keep this at the bottom here, a little bit like this. Here. Okay, I have adjusted these bars now quite well. And so we have them here. Okay. Maybe I can be here, right? Like at the bottom. On the top looks really bit weird. So I can put this here. UzChess Cup, Space India. And I can come here. Okay. That looks much better. Okay. Guys, all good? Let's continue with this position. Shakhriyar is about to make his move. After this, we go to Arjun's game, and Shakhriyar takes on f6. I think Vidit is in some trouble already. He takes on f6. He has to take back with the pawn. Okay. One question to ask here is, what's happening to e takes d4? Right, he takes it. You can't take with the queen because of check. And once there's a check, you lose the rook. So you must take here rook f5, dc5, I believe. Ooh, dc5 is just equal. And we have a result. Mukhadin Madaminov beats Madaminov is beating, wow, Nepo. But I can see him still sitting here. So what happened exactly? Nepo, Mukhadin is white. Maybe we just could catch the glimpse of the final moment of this game. I mean, the pawns are very strong. Rook on b6. Can we go queen c4 attacking here? A pawn is rushing. Wow, Nepo loses. Clock is opposite. Clock. Here it's fine, but in the other game it's opposite. Okay, I will put the bar at 3 at the bottom and 2 at the top. That's a good idea. Whoever said that is very good at designing. I agree. I'm very poor at it. This looks much better. Agreed. Yes, I will change the Vidit and Mamedyarov clocks. Someone said that Sindarov has become Uzbek #1 for the first time because Nodirbek Yakuboyev and Nodirbek Abdusattorov drew. Wow, let me check, on 2700 in a bit. And then maybe it's a big news because It's the first ever time in many years that Uzbekistan has a new number one player. But how is it that Mukhyiddin is still thinking here? Maybe it's an old video. That's how it is. If I just refresh the video, it might just show me that it's over. This is already done. Yeah, he's won it. Mukhyiddin Madaminov has beaten Jan Nepomniachtchi. I'm just seeing where the big mistake happened. In fact, take rook e1, bishop e6, queen d2, and boom! c4 by Nepo. Boom! Take on d3. Boom! Take on f8. Queen d3. This is roundabout equal, this position. Let me just go here to analyze this. This is insane. Bishop g7. And now rook a4. Wow, what a move. Queen c7. h3. Wow. Mukhyiddin is playing crazy chess. Queen a6. Rook b2. Queen d3 comes back. Bishop d7. Rook a1. d4. a6. It doesn't care. Take here a7. Queen बनाएंगे अपन. Knight e4. Takes. Bishop c6. Queen g4. Rook a3. Rook g3. Rook b1. And if you take here, I believe wants to check and pick this up. Or rook b8 check is also finished. So here, and queen e2 and Nepo simply resigns. Wow. Mukhyiddin Madaminov has beaten Jan Nepomniachtchi. That's a huge result. Huge. Oh, we have Arjun and Shamshiddin have drawn. Wow, the results are coming thick and fast here. Arjun Erigaisi has drawn his game with the black pieces against Shamshiddin. Very soon, this game is over. It was a Karo Khan. So, and the c5 line by Arjun against the advance, which is not so common. Knight f3, takes. c4. And somehow Shamshiddin has just blocked everything, and Arjun also then blocked everything here. Maybe g takes h5 was possible, but he would have come back. So he just said, okay, I'll go g5, traded queens, and this knight is so strong here that in the end the players agreed to a draw. Okay, so now only 2 games left. Hans Niemann versus Nicholas Theodoru. Hans Niemann is playing here against Nicholas. Nicholas seems to be having a nice position with the bishop pair here. He won the last year's UzChess Cup Challengers, I believe. That's how he's in the Masters. And let's go to Vidit now, because that is a key game that we have. And here, after queen takes, yeah, e takes d4, rook f5, and now a beautiful move played by Shakhriyar Mamedyarov. Guys, white to play and get a big advantage. What would you play? Well bowled, Sakhi says, love you, Sagar bhai. Arey, thank you, bhai. Sagar bhai, give your predictions on who you think is winning this tournament. I think Arjun Erigaisi should win this one. It's been a long time since Arjun won a tournament, I think. The last time he won a tournament was in WR Chess 2024. So it's been like 2 years now. Yes, Abhijit Chauhan, well done. Yes, I'm standing and doing commentary, guys, because it's important. In fact, I was thinking I will do some point commentary with this. Sorry. I have now a bike, so I can actually be very fitness driven and I can do commentary with my bike. Like, that would be insane, right? Then I'm like doing chess plus fitness. And so rook f5, what's the move here? Yes, guys, queen takes a5 is the correct move. And here Mamedyarov did play queen takes a5. And you can see that the pin is two-way, like this and like this. So if the knight moves, then the f5 rook hangs. Guys, this is the first time someone is commentating with a cycle. I can just show you. Maybe you guys can see the cycle here. You can't see it yet, but okay. Anyway. Oh, we are fans of you from Puerto Rico. Let's go. Vamos. So here, I think Vidit is in big trouble, but if you have to play something, the question is what? It's difficult because you are pawn down plus your kingside structure is broken. Will Vidit lose? I don't know. It looks funny, but it's good actually. Guys, I might just lose 1 kg doing commentary. That would be so insane. And I also have some weighing machines and all. So come on, Vidit bhai. You can see from Vidit's body language, he looks a bit lost here. He goes rook d5 and he attacks the d4 pawn. And his plan is, if you take on c5, he would like to play rook d c5. So if you play d takes c5, he'll play rook d c5. No, not rook d c5. Rook d c5 would be met with what? Okay, here's a question to all of you. Why is this a mistake? White to play. Why is rook d c5 a mistake? My prediction is that maybe Arjun is very high chances to win here. Vidit needs to come back. I mean, Vidit can still try and fight to save this position. It's not a given that he will lose. Yes. Queen takes b4. Exactly. Khayan, Siddharth Ranadive, Maulesh, Karthi, Anonymous. Exactly. You pin it here and you win it. So, the idea of Vidit is to take with this rook. And his point is, if you take now here, then black wins. How can you make, it's called, this is an exercise in Zwischenzug, intermezzo, intermediate move. So he takes the knight, of course, Vidit will play his rook. C takes c5, obviously. Yes, he's played it. And exactly, rook takes c1. Rook takes c1. The queen is hanging. And if you take the queen now, I have an intermezzo check. And I pick up the queen and I'm a rook up. So very good, guys. Abhijit Chauhan, Hitman, Priyampal, Tathagat, Atharva, everyone has done very well. Oh, football matches, yeah? No, I haven't. But I wanted to do that video with Harshit Bhai. I don't know if I will be able to do it because Harshit Bhai is busy. But I would love to make a video with him that a noob understands football. We saw Sagar by exercising before during commentary before GTA 6. Yeah, I'm still doing it, guys. This is a reminder to all of you who have all the excuses why they cannot exercise that you can. All you need to do is integrate it into your life, into something that you are doing. For example, if you always fight with your girlfriend or boyfriend, then while fighting, you can exercise. So, like for example, you can walk while you talk, or you can run. Or if you are someone who's always busy finishing work, then while working, you can exercise. Difficult end game for Vidit. I agree. I agree. But what will Shak play? Shakhriyar Mamedyarov, he took on c5. Okay. I think Vidit can take with the queen now, or he can take with the rook. He decides to take with the queen. Yeah, I think it makes sense because if you take here with the rook, then I think you simply lose a pawn, right? So that is no good. So that's why he takes with the queen. And now, should you take queens or not take queens? That is the big question, guys. Should you take queen or not take queen? Sagar bhai, will you play GTA 6 on PS5? No, guys, I don't play video games, but I guess at some point in my life, I loved video games when I was like maybe in the age group of 12 to 15 or something like that. I used to play a lot. So I have that in me. So someday I could. Do chess players lose rating after marriage? Not necessarily. I think. Whoa. Yes, he took. He took here. Queen takes c5 taken. Because if you don't take the queen, and if you play, let's say, queen check, then king g7 and black pieces are very active. With the rook coming in on the 7th rank, attacking here and here with the queen on c5. So that's the reason why he took here. And now queen takes c5 happened, rook takes c5. And now what should Shakhriyar Mamedyarov play? Because he has back rank issues here. If his rook comes like rook d1 and comes up, it may not be easy. I mean, so he plays the move pawn to g3 and with it is back. Guys, very quickly, all in the chat, what is the best move for black to play? Dude, play GTA. I read it somewhere. Those who play GTA have 13% higher chances of becoming a GM. Okay, bye. I have a genuine question. Other than being just a hobby, does playing chess do any good to a normal chess player? Because then, why would a normal person work so hard to get better in chess? Many reasons. I mean, there's also good prize fund, you know. Yes, all those who are very, very sure. Rook c2, let's go. Vidit bhai, come on. I mean, Shakhriyar had to play something else here. What would be a better move for Shakhriyar here as white? Can anyone tell me? What would you play here as white with Shakhriyar? Because g3 allows rook c2 And then Vidit is now back in the game. He can hold this end game. Seventh heaven ghus jao, Tathagat. Exactly, Tathagat. You are right. Guys, I'm moving because I'm doing my exercise on this bike that I have. Let me just show all the viewers the bike here. This is, how do you call it? The cycle or the bike, whatever you call it. So this is it here. And you know, this is very good for, like, you basically have this to just cycle and pedal and do it. So I'm not just moving on my own. Sagar Bhai, Google shows your net worth as 190 crores. Amazing. That's just insane, guys. I don't know about it. You know, the thing is, it just doesn't matter as long as you have enough money to eat food, to live, and yeah, that's good enough. And to stream, and to learn, and to do whatever you want. If those are the things you have, then it's good enough already. Yes, A4. Did anyone say A4? 1 second. Yes, peaceful community. Aksh Gujral. Very good. A4 is the move that I was looking forward to. And if you play BA, I take BA, and the main thing about rook endgames, always remember, where should the rook belong? Where does the rook belong? Come on. Sagar bhai, remember you have poll system where the moves typed in the chat would order. Yes, I remember, Priyam. I use it from time to time. I think in between it was not working so well, but I can check again. Rook belongs behind the passed pawn. Yes. Dhruv Nikam. Well done. Sorry, not Dhruv. Rook. Okay. I understand someone said 7th rank, someone said open file, but in this very position, the rook belongs behind the passed pawn to push it forward like this. And so here, this is losing because both sides want to get behind the passed pawn. Black wants to get here, but the moment black goes here, white is the one who gets the rook first and starts pushing. And if you get your rook in front of the passed pawn, then the rook becomes passive here, and then I simply bring my king over, and this is winning for white. So A4, the natural move is rook C2, rook B1, very important move, saving my pawn, planning to push forward. So that doesn't work. Maybe the only move that makes sense is B3 here. And now I go, maybe I was wondering if we could go rook A1, but rook C2, good move. And then I have to waste a move because if I play A5, rook B2, A6, and a very important move, black to play and win, guys. What should black do here? Yes, Nepo lost. Sagar bhai, did you get paid to commentate? Yes, everywhere. Guys, don't worry. And can you really earn well enough to replace a normal job? For most chess players who are not in top, I think there are many people who are making a living out of chess. Yes, Arsh, Abhijit Chauhan, Rahul Gaming, Karthi, Priyampal, very good. Rook A2, excellent move. Takes, and while you're about to queen, I'm the first one to queen and checkmate you. Okay, so that does not work. This variation, that's why no need to waste a move here bringing your rook back. But first save your back rank, useful move. He also plays king g7. king g2, both are improving the position. f5, king f3, and I think white is winning here. So Shakhriyar Mamedyarov could have played a4 and put lot of pressure on Vidit, but instead he chose g3, and Vidit is still thinking. I think Vidit is a bit confused between rook a5 and rook c2. These are the two moves that Vidit is thinking about. Yes, there is extra time, 30 minutes after move 40. Vidit has to make 10 moves in 6 minutes. Go Vidit bhai. Don't overthink. Will there be time increment? Yes, Sagar bhai. How do you remember the notations? I have to look at the board every time. You have to practice, Tathagat. Practice. Like this. D3, E4, E5, D5, B7, A5, G5. Sorry, G5, F5, D1. अरे D1, B1, C8, E8, G8, H7. ऐसे practice करना है every day. Aksh Gujral says rook a5 looks good, but Aksh, if you play rook a5, then rook a1 is a strong move. And you remember that point I said about putting the rook behind the passer. A4 is coming next. So that's actually a mistake. Vidit must play rook c2 now. It's a very important move. I'm curious to see if Vidit will play this. It's a very, very key moment in the game and the match. Vidit bhai, come on. You can do it. Should we go full screen on this game? Guys, to all the people watching this, guys, I'm on my cycle right now. No, king g7. Maybe it's a good move. I don't know. King g7. No, it's not a good move. Because again a4 is coming. But why did Vidit bhai not play rook c2? Because he thought there's no point. He'll go rook b1. What did I gain? Maybe Vidit bhai you gained something really big. Because after king f8, if the opponent plays a4, now guys, how many of you know what should do with black to play? How many rounds in this tournament? 9 rounds, guys. 9 rounds. Sagar bhai, I've built a coding project which helps you learn the square notations with fun like game. How can I get that to you? Bhai, write to me on contact@chessbase.in. Ashutosh. Would love to see if there's something new. Because already Leechess has it, chess.com. Maybe you check out there. Is there something new? Yes, en passant. Very good. En passant. En passant. Very good. Is en passant called by the way? I think all of you are watching some videos of Hikaru, I think, who is telling like yesterday he called Alpin the flat. Everyone was saying flat and I was like, what the hell is flat? Okay, by the way, is en passant. And now, what is the move here that black should play? Remember, we just learned something in the rook endgame. You are learning some pearls of wisdom in the rook endgame. Black to play. What is a good move here? Black to play. Hans is losing, huh? Well, he's worse, maybe not losing. Yes. Rook a2. Suyash says, Sagar bhai, it's beautiful weather in the Netherlands. Arey, Suyash bhai. Good to see you after a long time. Rook a2. And now rook behind the passed pawn. Very important. And if rook b3, now king g7, and this position is drawn. So Vidit missing his chance here, and Shakhriyar Mamedyarov has a big opportunity, I must say here, to play pawn to a4, or it doesn't work anymore. Pawn to a4, yeah, it works. ba, rook a5, rook a1, and it makes a lot of sense here for black to play a move. Let's see how many of you have the understanding here. What should black play in this position? Black to move. Yes, Arsh, very good. Arsh is very quick to answer this. Find the move rook to a4. That is brilliant. Rook a4, hitman, pishital. And the point here is you stop the pawn from moving ahead. Although, truth be told, king f1. This looks very attractive for white. King g6, king e2, king g5. He's coming here. Okay, maybe I should stop it. h3 and black to play, guys. What would you play? Come on. Come on, guys. Learn the rook end game. Black to play. Create a weakness. Create a weakness here. f5 would be not so good because the idea of white is to quickly come here like this, and every move is important. h5, hola, well done, Jai Pandya. h5 with the idea of h4 creating weaknesses. By that logic, even f5 should work, but f5, f4, king f6, the king is pushed back a bit. Maybe it's not the best. So that's why h3, h5, king d3, h4. Okay, maybe you can leave it, or if you push g4, then king can come in like this. So you go king c3, hg, fg, and now f5, king b3, rook a8, a4, and now we are just in time to create counterplay. Rook h8, a5, rook takes h3, a6, rook h8, a7, rook a8, king b4, king here, rook stops the pawn, and now a simple move f4 takes, and it's a draw. So could have gone this way. He goes king g7. Mamedyarov can play a4 now, but he plays rook d1. Huh? Winning? इतना winning? एक मूव में रुक c2? भाई क्या हो गया यार? What just changed? What's the move now for white? Why did it become so winning? Did Mamedyarov play his move now after rook c2? Oh, Mamedyarov, what a move. He played b3. भाई मामेद्यारोव ने तो पूरा ही बेस्ट मूव ढूंढ लिया. वाओ वाओ. rook d4. Okay, this position should still be holdable, no? Because imagine that I get my rook behind your pawn and you take here. I mean, I don't know if this structure being so bad, because if I have my pawn here, this should be a draw. So I don't know if this makes such a huge difference. Maybe it does. Let's see. My feeling is that Vidit should be able to really put Mamedyarov under pressure to hold this to a draw. Rook takes b4. So does that mean that Vidit's move king g7 was the entire culprit? He had to go rook c2. We spoke about this move, but king g7, rook d1 immediately. That's a very, very strong move, rook d1. He saw through it. He saw this idea of rook d4. He saw rook c2, b3. But you know what? I'm not convinced yet. Maybe the bar says it's winning, but my feeling is that Vidit has his rook active. In the rook endgame, these pawns don't play that big a role, but maybe they do. Small differences Kalyan J. Yeah, maybe it's a small difference. King G2. He comes up. Vidit goes F5. Mamedyarov plays King G2. Oh, I understand what could be potentially a big problem here. I understand. So generally, black has this weakness to attack and this attack here. So the king cannot get active, correct? If the king gets active, then the pawn falls. But somehow Mamedyarov is aiming for this dream position where he can play rook f4, b4, and then everything, and h4. Everything is safe, and then he just brings his king in, and it wins for white. So Vidit has to avoid Mamedyarov's rook from swinging to the side, because every time Mamedyarov goes here, Vidit can win this pawn. So I don't know how Mamedyarov is going to achieve that setup. But let's say if he goes king g6, h4, h5, okay, king f3. I mean, as black, I don't know what to do. I'll just wait, here. I'll wait. King e3, king g6, rook b6, king g8, king g7, b4. Okay, I will wait. I don't know what is the way to make progress for you. So I wait. Oh, sorry, it's cut off. I'm very sorry. King g8 maybe. Then rook b5 and these two pawns you lose. Okay, I can't go there. So let me go here. But if I go here, there is rook f6. No, rook f6, rook b4, check, and king g6. Okay. b5, king g7, waiting. I'm just waiting. I want to see how you win. f4. Very important move. Once you play f4, I get a chance to go for a check, king d4, and I win a pawn. But now rook c6, threatening pushing the pawn, rook f3, b6, check, king c5, can't get here easily, and that's winning. So these pawns actually matter a lot, this weakness. I think Mamedyarov is going to win this. Erdogan Gunes says, hi Sagar, here on our supercomputer from Team Evren Uchok plus 7.66. Yeah, I think my analysis also felt like it's super easy to play as white. You just push your rook, your king comes here, you push the pawn, and it's totally winning. Mamedyarov is right now, many players at the age of Mamedyarov would slow down in their careers because he's achieved so much, he's played the candidates and so on. But because he's working with a youngster, and I think that's a very important thing here. All the people who've been working with the younger generation have managed to stay fresh. And that's the same case with Vishy Anand as well. He has always stayed in touch with these youngsters through Westbridge Anand Chess Academy, with Prag, Gukesh, sometimes Arjun, Nihal, all of them. And I think that Vaishali, that has helped him remain in shape. And I think Mamedyarov has also remained in shape because he's working with whom? Guys, do you know? Who is he working with? How many of you know? Suyash says, Sagar bhai, what annihilation by Prag in Norway chess. Absolutely loved it. Especially winning on demand against Kreimer. I agree. It was brilliant. White gets the crucial f4 square, says Arsh. Correct. Sagar bhai, do you think Gukesh, in order to hide his prep, is somehow ending up in bad positions? Could be Ritvik Kumar. Could be. Could be. Yes, Mamedyarov was 2800 plus in his peak. Shri Kripa Rao, yes, Yaz Khan, Erdogmus. He's working with Yaz Khan, and I think that is what is really helping him stay in shape. H5 by Vidit, and now maybe you can just push your pawn to H4. It's a useful move to make. Then King E3, then Rook check, B4. Eventually, you play F4, and then bring your king in. It's a pretty clear and self-explanatory win here for Mamedyarov. Okay, let's have a look at the game of, yeah, he goes H4 as we expected, pawn to H4. No, this is not a knockout tournament. This is a round robin one. And I think one of the main reasons for Vidit to play this tournament is to complete his quota of 9 games to be able to play for Team India in the Chess Olympiad 2026, which is going to happen in Uzbekistan. And so you have to play 9 classical games, and that is what Vidit is completing here. Endgames, earlier I used to think are very difficult, but soon I've realized that you can calculate endgames and learn a lot. So F6 played. One idea that comes to mind is Rook B7, cutting the king off completely. But okay, let's play King E3. No rush. I guess you would play King H6. That's the logical move. Rook B6, King G6, B4. Ah. Well, if I rushed it this way, I would be in a bad situation. Guys, what is a good move for black here? Wow. Okay. I was a little bit careless and Vidit got his chance. Ashutosh says, why won't Vidit play classical or blitz tournament? In recent times, Vidit has been exploring different things. He's spoken about it on his Twitter about how he loves vibe coding, how he's been doing different stuff. Yes, Debankar Banerjee, you are very strong. F4 check, I love a lot. Because after King F4, I can take it here. And if you play G takes F4, now King F5, a key move to get into G4. So Mamedyarov has to be careful here. I was wondering if he played King E3, can Vidit actually go F4 now? Is that working? Because if Rook F4, it's a draw. Rook takes B3. But G4 and King F5, again trying to come here. And a key move now is to stop the king from coming here with white to play. Sagar by Team Liquid as Fabi, Prag, Magnus. Are all three playing in EWC or only Magnus? I think Magnus has qualified. Others have to qualify. Sagar bhai sent you the email. Looking forward to hearing from you. Watching F1 and chess together now. Great combo. Thank you, bhai. Thank you, Laksh. Yes, king here, king F3 or F3. Both work. So here we have Erdogangunes who says F4 now for Vidit. GF4, Rook B1, but Vidit doesn't go for it. But this is the line he gave: F3, Rook E1, King F2, Rook H1. But isn't this winning for white, or is this a draw? Because I don't trust this engine on my browser so much, like the bar that you can see. in such endgames, it can often kind of mislead you. "40 moves are not yet over. 37 moves have been completed. So has to finish 40 moves. F6. So the live board is this one. I don't know. Maybe they made a couple of moves, right? He's played King E3 and then King F7. So this is the live board position. Plus 10. Plus 10 is said. Okay. Yeah, exercise is stopped for the time being. Bars don't lie, but sometimes the engines can be a bit weak, you know. So now this bar is gone up, but again it will come down because it's a weak bar. Like for example, if I play check here, it will again come down. So you can't trust it fully, but of course it gives you a decent idea of where it is heading. Okay, let's have a look at Hans Niemann's game, because Hans Niemann is playing here. He's still active. So this is, let me get Hans Niemann's board. Maybe it's this one, yeah, two. Yeah, there you see Hans Niemann, and he's playing against Theodoru. Oh my god, Hans is losing. It's insane. How did he get into such a bad position from here? Like, it was equal. He allowed e4, then gave up a pawn, tried to trap the bishop, was unsuccessful, and now he missed a move. Oh. White to play, guys. What's a good move here? What move did Hans Niemann miss white to play? Hans is not losing. He's losing brutally. Okay. Yeah, thank you, Erdo, for sending it again. For sending this, it is plus 10 here. Okay, got it. So clearly winning. Yes, e5 is the move that was missed here by Hans Niemann. He now can no longer protect this bishop, so he has to play here, and then bishop takes f4 was taken. But actually the point here is bishop e5 is met with a very cool move, bishop g5. It's a skewer. It's a very nice skewer here. So e5, queen g6, bishop f4, check, bishop c1, takes, but now check, takes the queen, and it's straightforward here, the win for white. I mean, white can take on b7, but can also play rook f7 and then f5, and then it's just winning. So Hans Niemann in big trouble here. So Hans Niemann, Nepo, I think all the players who are playing a bit too much are in trouble, and the players who are playing a bit too less are in trouble. Chess is a very, very difficult sport, I must say. It's difficult to perform well. By the way, Vidit has only 45 seconds on the clock now. Needs to make two more moves to reach move 40, while Shakhriyar has 25 minutes. Bhai Chaitanya says, is Nodirbek playing against himself? No, bhai, it's Nodirbek Abdusattorov versus Nodirbek Yakuboyev. Yeah, hopefully we'll reach 3 million someday soon. But for now, the UzChess Cup is going on, and I feel like this is going to be not at all. It's going to be really, really bad uh, for Vidit. Today, already 3 decisive games. Yeah, Nepo losing to Madaminov, um, Hans Hans losing to Theodoru most likely, and now Vidit losing to Mamedyarov. How many moves done till now? 38 moves done. Vidit thinking about his move here, but it is Mamedyarov who has to play. Sagar bhai, can you please explain the tie-break meeting controversy? So the controversy was that if 2 or more players end up on the same points, should there be a tie-break or not, was the question. And it was difficult to answer it because, last year the tie-break went on for hours between Prag, Nodirbek and Sindarov, I think. The reason that players wanted to avoid, I think the organizers wanted to avoid, was that they have to take a flight to Hong Kong for the FIDE World Rapid and Blitz teams. But on the other hand, Niemann was like, no, there should be, like, if you end up on the same points and you don't play, then that's not right. So Rook B8 was played. Okay. Rook B8 and King G6. I think moves are updating a little too slow somehow. Here. Rook B8, King G6. I think the next major tournament is World Rapid and Blitz teams, but maybe EWC is the super major one. And then we also have Olympiad World Championship matches. Scoring system in UzChess Cup is simple. 1 point for the win, half for a draw, and 0 for the loss. Why not just take vote from players and see how they want? Because one player doesn't want it and he wants this rule, then maybe they were trying to accommodate everyone. EWC and Sinkfield Cup are clashing, correct? Grand Chess Tour and EWC are clashing. When is the Olympiad? It's from, I think, 15 to 28th of September. Global Chess League is also there in India from 2nd to 11th September. That is something which a lot of people will be able to visit, happening in India. Maybe, hopefully, Magnus plays this year. That would be great. Rose King. I think I will go there, Priyam, to Uzbekistan to cover the Olympiad. When was the World Championship happening? Well, it'll happen in November. BL is there. Yes, BL will cover. BL Vaishali is playing in the Challengers. The tiebreak controversy conclusion is that there will be tiebreaks if 2 players are there. If 3 are there, they won't do it. And something like that. I'm also not 100% sure. But yeah, they all signed on it. And so if there's a tie, they will have a tie break. That's my understanding. Dhruv Nikam says we are organizing house-wise double round robin chess 916R college. Each house has 6 players. All the best, Dhruv bhai. Lot of exciting tournaments this year. Yes, exactly. Lot of. Yeah, Magnus could go down below 2800. That's possible, guys. Possible. Mamedyarov is thinking whether he should push the pawn now. I think b4 would be a mistake. That is my understanding. But maybe I'm just wrong. He comes back, rook b4. Waiting. He wants Vidit to play king f7, reach move 40, and then think for some more time. Sagar bhai, we need now vertical camera. Acha, not horizontal. Abdusattorov was losing. Oh, really? Plus, oh my god, really? Abdusattorov was losing, huh? Can we look at Abdusattorov Yakuboyev? Because I'm surprised that it was just 26 moves. Queen g3, g7. Okay, b4, f5. Abdusattorov in big trouble as Yakuboyev trying to win. He comes back. Maybe f takes e6 was the move here. Maybe with the point that if knight e6, bishop h5 with the threat of queen takes knight, doesn't look like fatal for sure. Like, for example, here. But somehow this attack is pretty strong. So queen e3. Somehow wriggled out of it. Yeah. Abdusattorov was also in trouble today. Unfiltered says watching from Canada since 2 a.m. for Vidit Bhai. It's sad to see him losing. Yeah, I think in general Vidit will get better as the tournament goes along because he has not played so much, and you can't expect a player to face world class opposition when he has not played a single tournament for years, or I mean years, no, months. His last classical event was perhaps in World Cup in India in October. After that, I don't remember him playing. So that's roughly uh, 8 months since he's played anything on classical front. Sagar bhai, why does the last round happen before than regular time? Because they have to wind up, they have to do the closing ceremony. So generally they do it earlier. Sagar bhai, what's Women Olympiad squad? Is it announced? No, everything will be announced on 1st of July. I think the team could very well be if everyone plays Hampi, Harika, Divya, Vaishali, and I'm not sure who the fifth player would be. There is Vantika, there's Savita Shri, there is Tanya won't play. She hasn't played 9 games. But there's this young girl, Shubhi Gupta, who's reached number 5 in India. She may have an outside chance. Not sure. Why did Sindarov back out from UzChess? Because he was in Norway, and I think once you become the World Championship challenger, you don't want to play all tournaments. You want to play selected events. You want to play events where you are, yeah. I think that's the reason why which will help you in your match. I think this is one thing which is underestimated for a world champion or the challenger. Their focus is clearly on the match. It's not that they want to reveal. So every tournament they go, they want to play well, but they have some limitations. So in the match, we need to see how they play. sports makes you rich at a young age. Possible. I mean, the possibility of becoming rich in sports is much higher at a younger age than anything else that you do. But over a period of time, I think there are diminishing returns sometimes, and in other spheres, maybe there's geometric returns. Will f3 come now? Says Erdogan. So f3, let's look at it, because what else can you do? I was also wondering if you could do king d4, but then f4 sets up a lot of counterplay. So f3, I mean f4 is also, I think, a good move. Rook g3, king f, rook g8 check, king here. And now, you know what you can do calmly is maybe push, check, 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 and go from here. Rook here, b5 takes, b6, rook b3, and you can see these two pawns are doing great job in stopping three pawns. King d2, and now if you get hungry to win another pawn, let's say rook f3, then I go rook c7, take, and not b7, but a very nice move here, stopping rook b4. What's the good move? White to play. Kavi says, I love the chess game, but I'm new here. Can you tell a little about the help chess that I'm seeing on the screen? So helpchess.org is the website where we collect funds for young talents of Indian chess, support them in different ways. So there have been a lot of people who've contributed to it, and so that is on the screen here. Yes, king c3, Arav Sinha, Vihan Rachuri, Priyampal, let a go, Asha, well done. Jash Haria, Asha Deshpande. King c3 stops here this rook, and if you play check, king b2, check, rook c2 here, and king b3, and this pawn is queening. There's no way to stop it. These are difficult lines to calculate. Why are you stressed and tired today? No, I'm not stressed. I'm fine. I may be tired. The thing is that they are very, very intense these days, with COB, Norway chess, and certain plans that have to be done. So, yeah. You just need good investors, Sagarbai, and money flows like water. True. Both players thinking here. Look at Vidit. He's so tired. I think he's also. It's not easy. Let's go full screen. Maybe we can. Well, the time they'll get 30 extra minutes. So there's a lot of time. It's not like this is the only time that they have. So that's why Shakhriyar Mamedyarov is taking his time here. Taking this out. Thinking 10 minutes. Vidit is sometimes, sitting at the board, he might be thinking like, oh, if I was home, I could be doing vibe coding. Now I'm defending a rook endgame. Yeah, Chennai grandmasters also there. Yeah, I agree. There's also Chennai GM, and I think Gukesh might play there, the world champion. So that's one tournament we should keep our eyes on. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's in July. The dates they've already announced. So that would be a great event to check out. Sagar bhai, did Amruta turn off the gas today? Yes, yes. Everything is fine. Tonight I will be interviewing also Prakhar, who is the winner of COB. And we have a contributor on Help Chess today. Wow, Aman Raj. Thank you, Aman Raj, for contributing 999. He is the believer of Indian chess. Amazing day. Thank you. I don't agree that Gukesh's average is probably 2720 because he reached 2750 even before his epic 2024 run. I think he'll stabilize after defending his title. Yeah, if he defends his title, that would give him a lot of confidence. But we all have to see what will happen. His opponent is a good player. And King D3 has Shakhriyar made a move that is not the best. Does Vidit now have a chance? Wow. Let's see, guys. Does Vidit Gujrathi have a chance here? The big question. And Erdo, what does your supercomputer say? Is it equal now? Maybe not. सागर भाई, टेल मी द सीक्रेट ऑफ हेयर डेंसिटी. भाई ये आपको लग रहा है कुछ सीक्रेट? Peaceful Community says, I was addicted to vibe coding a year ago and it destroyed my reasoning capabilities. Quick dopamine hits were the real culprit. Wow. That's amazing. I find patterns of Uzbek players, they always keep staring at opponent's eye and always get up. Acha. Erdo says, Sagar, what do you think about how many moves the GM here are thinking? 10, 15, or more moves? Sometimes just 2, 3 moves trying to find a line, and then once they are convinced of a move, they go deeper. But not sure how deep. +8 says Erdo. Okay, so all okay for Shak here. I think it'll get updated. The engine is not so strong, but the strong engine says it's +8. So the question is, can we go f4? I like this move, push it forward. The only question is here, this is a mistake, king c2. Why? White to play, black to play, and because if I move the rook, then I'll just take rook f4. So what's the move? How to get FIDE rating? You have to play in FIDE rated events. How to find FIDE rated events? Go to aicf.in/calendar. Why don't you become a GM? Because I have to play tournaments and it's a lot of work. Nepo is losing to 2586 GM in round 1. Yes, already checked. Madamino will get the podium. Wow. He has the Sindaro buff. If he manages to do that, that would be something. A lot of people will then get into being a second. Yes, Debunker Banerjee, love it. Hula. Himang says f4 very hard to find it, but Vidit can do it. But I think Himang by it's still losing even if he finds f4. So this was just a variation. But even if he plays f4, G takes f4 now. This is not so easy. I think king f5, f3, very strong move, taking away the 2 squares to enter. And now if you go rook h1, I have checked. Okay, I think overall you will have to be a bit more accurate than before to win this position. And this is a draw. This is a win. This is a win. I can go rook f8. and just slowly push the pawns. Habitat book for November. I don't know where the match will happen. Based on that, we'll decide if it's happening in India. We would like to do something where it's happening. If not, maybe in Habitat. We'll have to see. This is Aman Raj here. Thanks for letting me know about Help Chess. Much love to this game. Thank you, Aman. That's very kind of you to contribute. One second, guys. I'll be back in a second. Vidit is thinking he has 25 minutes now. Tough endgame for VD. True. It's possible that it can be a draw. Or maybe I have a view of the playing hall. Maybe it doesn't work yet. Normal guy says I'm 10 years old and rated 1782. Give me some tips. I don't know. I just feel like you have to be on your journey always. So, one thing that I've realized is what's very good is to sometimes show up every day. If you show up every day to something you are doing, you will find your way of moving forward. And maybe you are working hard every day, and so that's great. Sagar bhai, can you give an update about Nihal? I always thought of him as the next big thing. So he's right now India number 4, and he is playing very well. He was in the Stepan Avagian Memorial Tournament, and he finished joint second with a +1 result. He lost a few rating points. He won one game, drew 8. That's one of the things about Nihal. He's very solid. But I think working with Vishnu helped him a lot in general in his chess career, because Vishnu managed to bring out the best in him. Meanwhile, Hans Niemann has just lost his game to Nicholas Theodoru. That's not a happy result for Hans. G7 is coming. So that leaves us with only this game. Try championship coverage in big hall or venues. 100% tickets will be sold out. Sure, bhai. Peaceful community says, Sagar bhai, how to find love in life? Wow. That's a tough question, bhai. I guess love is within you. You just have to find love within you. You don't have to try and find love outside you. If you find within you, the outside love will come. I mean, it will. If it comes, it doesn't come, doesn't matter. Sir, is this tournament in FIDE circuit? Yes, it is. It is part of the FIDE circuit. Correct. Sagar bhai, any idea where the global chess look would be? In India, it's happening. I don't think they have revealed the city, but it's happening in India. There used to be workshops in Phoenix Mall. Do they happen nowadays? Yes, every Saturday you can come and play. Diplomatic Shah. No, not diplomatic. I was very honest. So Erdo has given us a line. Let's see. Well, I was just exercising on a gym bike. You know, they have this cycle. I don't know what it's called. Maybe you guys know the name. Here, King F5, F3. He goes Rook F1, King E3, Rook F1, Rook E1, King F2, Rook B1, King G2, and +9. Yeah, but Erdo, the thing is, while this position is +9, this might be a bit complicated to win because you see everything is weak here, and in order to make progress, you may have to give some kind of a check somewhere, or you may have to move, and then Vidit could win a pawn. There could be a check here. So I do think that Vidit has chances after F4, and he should try. I mean, with engine play, it's completely lost. But with human play, it could be something. Like, for example, let's say F4 takes King F5, F3. I understand this. Let's say Rook H1 trying to attack here. Now, the only move here, it's kind of tricky, I must say, is, guys, white to play. Let's see. India USA checkmate next leg is not happening, but in USA Uzbekistan is happening in Florida, I think. Suyash says, hi Sagarbai, everyone praises Bobby, but wasn't Spassky a thorough sport and gentleman to accept Bobby's terms and agree for a match? I agree. But I think people really appreciate Bobby Fischer's chess. As a human being, perhaps Spassky is appreciated more. Play Tantra says, Sagar, I've prepared a detailed report of Sindaro's most probable openings he can play by analyzing his 1 year games plus his seconds. I want to send it to Gukesh. You can send it to us. We'll forward it to him. You can send it to contact@chessbase.in. But I do feel that Gukesh and his team would have done this work. KSO says, do you ever get fatigued by the amount of chess you cover? Sometimes, yes. The point is that +9 is with table-based support. That is why it's so high. Normal engine is without table-based support will show +1 or +2, not more. That's a great point, Erdo. Thank you for increasing everyone's understanding. Table-based, guys, in chess is, I think now they have reached 7-man table base. So if you reach any positions where there are 7 pieces, then it is for sure possible to tell with certainty it's winning in how many moves. 8-piece table base hasn't been reached yet. So it has this table based support, and when you have table based support, then in every line, when you go deeper and the moment it reaches 7 pieces, you know for sure. So that is a very good thing. We have Animesh Agarwal, who has sent a huge super chat of Australian $50. Thank you, Animesh. That is very kind of you. Thank you. No, the Indian Olympiad chess team Lakshman will be announced in like first week of July. Are there any other sports or games you like to follow or watch when you get fatigued by chess? Yeah, I actually like a lot to follow sports in general, like cricket, tennis, badminton. I used to play a lot. but not very deeply. Yeah, like I used to follow all the sports very deeply at some point. Like when I was young, I used to follow this F1 when Michael Schumacher was there, Mika Hakkinen, all of these people. I used to follow it very closely. Then there was a phase when I was following badminton very closely with uh, I think Lindan, Lei Chong Wei. Um, then tennis during the era of Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic. But yeah, now not anymore. Cricket, of course, when I was very young with Sachin and that era. Kartikeya Shankar says, Sagar bhai, how do I generate the passion for my profession as much as you have for chess? Ooh, very difficult question, Kartikeya. I guess you can't force it. It happens, yeah. It happens on its own. Um, Maybe it has to, you have to wait for something that happens on its own rather than forcing something. And it'll happen. Maybe it'll happen a little late. If you try to force something, like for example, you say, oh, I need to be passionate about XYZ thing, and you don't feel it, then maybe it becomes a pressure. So maybe just be there. It'll come. Rajita says generally Amruta takes questions. Yeah, I'm inspired by her, so that's why I'm taking questions today. Sanket Bhai, member for 53 months. Planning to follow FIFA World Cup this year, Sagar Bhai. I will definitely follow now, especially with Harshit Bhai being so interested. And because everyone's such a big fan of Messi, I will also root for Argentina, I guess. I hope someday India can reach the FIFA World Cup. I mean, we should be able to. I don't know what's the issue in football if someone's followed closely. Like why is Indian football not reaching the same level as, let's say, uh, other sports where we've managed to actually do well, let's say badminton. Even in tennis, for that matter, we've had world stars like Leander Pace and Rohan Bopanna and all of them. So, what is stopping us from doing well in football? Peaceful says not everyone gets the closure they want in their life. Sad thing to say, but sometimes the harsh. Yeah, maybe it's good not to seek for closure, right? Just be okay. Priyam says, what about northern states like UP and Bihar? So we did a camp recently in this place called Bardohi. Uh, Teach Chess India did a camp. Harsh from our team and Priyanka, who's my good friend, they went there and taught chess to young girls in this place in UP. And we hope to do more of such camps everywhere. Too much corruption, says people. Aha. Management, politics. The support from association itself is not very good. Wow. The board for football development have too much money allocated for themselves instead of grassroots developments. Wow. Everyone, whole system is corrupted. Man, that's insane, right? How a sport can get completely. I think in chess, maybe we were lucky in that respect that the federation has done a good job. Um, Over the years. One thing that I really, really admire is that nationals are held every single year in Indian chess. State championship also majorly are held every year. I mean, there is always scope for improvement for everything, but I really appreciate this aspect. Football is a very big market. India should break into that for sure. In more than a market, I'm pretty sure that Indian team would do very well. I was watching this movie in one of the flights. on football. There was this one guy who was really good. By the way, I'm pretty sure Vidit has to go f4. I mean, what else? You have to play. Because imagine if you waste a move here and opponent gets king c2, it's over. Because you move your rook and rook f4. This is what we wanted, b4. Then there is nothing. Like, it's all over. b4, then you bring your... You just don't have counterplay as black. So, f4, if you don't do, what else? I mean, maybe you do rook b2, attacking here. Maybe this is what Vidit is thinking. Play here, and then if f3, maybe he's thinking about between these two moves, and it's a bit complicated. But you know, if you use all your time on this one move, it may be difficult in the end to use. You may not be left with much time. Erdo says when money is into the game, it's always corruption. Regarding chess, organizations, companies like ChessBase India keep it alive and rising. Well, I think in general, we've been trying to do our bit, but there are so many individuals who have worked relentlessly in their own space. Rook b2, very good. Vidit doesn't go f4. He thinks rook b2 is a better idea. And maybe now Shak is in an only move territory, because if he goes f4 here, maybe it's already a draw. Maybe it's already a draw after rook g2. Although in many examples we saw that this was perhaps not so bad, but here you will see that you actually spent a lot of time and the rook can actually come back from behind and stop the pawn. So perhaps for Shak, it's not such a tough decision to play f3, because now if rook here, he can play rook f4, rook g3, b4, rook g2, and you only lose one pawn, and then king c4. Tangent says, is the federation really responsible for the success of people like Arjun Gukesh? Who, I think it's the parents who have to be credited. I'm pretty sure that parents worked really hard. Coaches worked really hard. But if you look at Gukesh, he became the under 11 national champion. If you look at Pragnananda, he became under 7, under 9 national champion. So they did play national championships, and that did help. They were playing these events. So while I'm not saying that all credit can go to one entity ever, you know, but having these in place is helpful. How do players get selected for every tournament? Like if we talk about Norway Chess Championships, no, the organizers contact them. Or you write to the organizers and say, okay, I want to take part. And then they will respond back to you. Way before Indian team was invited to World Cup, then I guess only 16 teams were invited, but AIFF didn't support at that time. There was, yeah, I was just talking about this one movie, right? Did anyone answer this movie that yeah, Sunil Chetri is a very good player, that I know. I saw it in one of my flights actually when I was traveling. It was maybe Ajay Devgan was in that movie. F3 played by Shak. He played, look at Shak, no? He played this move like in 2 minutes and got up. He's playing quickly. He's playing rapidly. He's putting pressure on Vidit, not just on the board, but also on the clock. Plans for Chess Camp Club in Bangalore. Waiting since long. Ayush, there is a club that is vibrant in Bangalore. Just search Bangalore Chess Club. It's a vibrant place. You will love it. Thoughts on the Olympiad team spots? Gukesh, Prag, Arjun, Nihal, Vidit. Okay, team order, I think maybe yesterday we did discuss a bit day before. My order would be Gukesh, Prag, Arjun and Nihal and Vidit. But one could also make an argument for putting Nihal on board 1 actually. Very solid, because put him on board 1, put him on board 4, he would be solid, and then others could strike on board 2, 3, 4. But yeah, I don't know. It depends on also each player. Like for example, as we spoke, the world champion has always played on board 1 in Olympiad. So maybe Gukesh may want to play on board 1. You never know. Yeah, Maidan says good night. Correct. Maidan is the movie. Correct. It was a good movie actually, the Maidan movie. You should check it out. Um, what I really liked in that movie was the role of Ajay Devgan, where he goes. I mean, I don't know if it's based on a true story. So Vidit goes King F7. I mean, guys, don't trust the bar so much. So what he did was he went into every rural area of India or every region and tried to find local talents, and that was really nice. Dhurandhar, I saw the first part, yes, a little bit. I didn't enjoy it so much. Found it to be too violent, actually. But okay, it was nice. It's inspired by true events. Okay, peaceful community. Someone like Vidit who isn't like playing too much chess, if he manages to make a comeback, can be quite inspiring for a lot of people. Gold is a similar movie for hockey gold after independence. Aha, okay. Maybe it was Akshay Kumar, right? In that Ashmit, I've seen it, I think. I've seen a lot of movies in flight because, I travel a lot. I mean, when I go to international. So most of the times I sleep in the flight, but I get this one movie in. Second part is more interesting. Okay. Sayyid Abdul Rahim's role is played by Ajay Devan, right? Sai says, where is the next chess event in India? Can we meet you? The big chess event there's one Chola chess event that's happening from June 20 to 28, which is a GM and IM norm tournament in Chennai. Then there would be Chennai Grandmasters, there would be the Olympiad. I'm pretty sure, sorry, not the Olympiad, the Global Chess League. I'm pretty sure at one of the places we'll meet. Can they set it up differently each time, or must it always remain exactly as reported? Says Erdo. About what? I didn't get the question, Erdo. Minerva Club is going good. Should be supported by government in football. Okay, got it. Guys, you have great knowledge in football. Tenet, yes, I'm a big Christopher Nolan fan. Uh, Maybe I've not seen too many of his other movies. I mean, I've seen many actually. I really liked Dark Knight series or Batman series. It's too good, too good. It's one of my favorite ones, especially Batman Begins. I love part one. If you haven't seen it, I love it, especially the philosophy aspect, the parts where there are many interesting things. But I also love the um, movie Prestige. Very cool. Yeah. Tenet is also by him, I think. There's also this. There's so many movies. I think one movie where Amruta and I saw, we looked at it for an entire day because we would pause, we would talk to each other about it, then we would research, and that took an entire day to watch. I think it was this about that space travel. I think. Yeah, I forget the name. I forget many names. About the Olympiad team. The Olympiad team question. Yes, Erdo, once you submit the team, I think the board order has to remain. Or maybe you can give names as you want, but at least a day or two before that event, you have to give your fixed order. And then it has to remain the same throughout the event. Not Memento. Yeah, Interstellar. Correct. Interstellar. You watched Queen of Katwe. Yes, I have watched Queen of Katwe. I loved it. Sagar bhai, what's the most recent movie you watched in theaters? Wow. Wow. I didn't go to the theater to watch a movie for at least, I don't remember, 5 years now, maybe more, maybe 10, maybe. I definitely remember this Queen of Katwe we watched in the theaters. Uh, yeah, I haven't seen the movie for a long time. Vidit has the unluckiest pairing of the tournament, says Dynamic. Okay. He has to face all the top five seeds in the first 5 rounds of the tournament. Oh, wow. That's a very interesting. I'm doing job and I'm interested in chess. Should I go for playing chess tournament and go for higher FIDE? Also regarding chess coaching. Mayur Mulchandani. Mayur, it's a very nuanced question. You should think about these things carefully. Yeah, it's not something that someone can just answer without understanding about your job, about your what do you want in life, about how important things are. So you need to think on these things and take a call for yourself. Sagar bhai, thoughts on CJP? Okay, this is a quite interesting development. Yeah, that's happening. I just saw briefly about the Cockroach Janta Party. For me, it seems like, uh, I used to think like any change that needs to be brought in can be brought in by people who have a good intention. For example, let's say you want to bring a change in, let's say, chess, for example. Then one way is to, of course, get into the system that already exists and change it, or you just create something new and try to build up on it. So I'm a big fan of creating something new, um, but I do understand that there are some things where you can't create something new, like you have to fix the system that exists. So yeah, sometimes you have to fix things, but sometimes when you create something really cool, the old systems just crumble away. So I've not thought deep enough to know what's the way to approach here, but yeah. Sagar, if you were to put together a dream team from the Olympiad, which players would you pick, including substitutes? Okay, that's a great question. I would like to build a team that has good camaraderie rather than taking the big names. Like, for example, if I take Magnus in a team, it would be very strong. He would play really well on board one. But I've seen that the team spirit is often built by players who like to be with each other. So, in that respect, I would maybe choose Fabi, Levon. I think the US team is interesting in that sense. I would also choose maybe Prague, Nodirbek. Yeah, difficult to say. I mean, generally, if you choose like top five players, it would be a good team. But I would definitely want to choose Yazkan because this boy is, you never know how strong he is actually right now. It's almost there, right up there. Sai says everyone goes to theater to watch movies. Sagar Bhai goes to new country. How can we boost our performance? Please pick my comment, says that creates it. You can boost your performance in many different ways. You can practice, you can play tournaments, you can actually, I think playing tournaments is a very good way, but playing it in a way like I really love how Tracy, who played the comedians on board, is approaching things. For example, she mentioned that she would like to analyze her games that she's played, and she's very keen on understanding where she went wrong. So this aspect of chess improvement is a little bit understated, I feel. You should try and improve. Look at your games. Hexamind is a great example of a good team, yeah, maybe. The Hexamind team had who? Anish, Vidit, Divya. It was a good team, yeah. Good team. Prabhat says, I want to become an FM. I'm 22, 1434. I have only 2 hours per day. What should be my routine? Tigran Petrosyan is my role model. Well, personally, I don't really believe in certain things like, oh, this much is the time, this is how the routine is, and so on. I feel like things are very fluid in general, and you should be able to do things that are the most important for you. So what resonate with you, and also maybe keeping a goal like this in mind very deeply may not be very relevant. You just keep improving. That would be nice. Which player is making the best use of AI in chess? Not sure, yeah. I'm not sure how top players are using AI right now. Actually, Vidit does make use of AI, but I don't know if he does it in chess. But in general, he's making great use of AI. Rajita says, Sagar, my sincerest request, can we get a lot of behind the scenes of Olympiad this year if possible? We really enjoy them and we rarely get to see our favorite players together. Those videos from 2024 of CBI are love. Sure, Rajita, we will go there. We will cover the event. Sometimes you can't get entries into the team meetings. There's too much of important conversations that are happening, but at least everything outside it, when the players are entering the playing hall, everything we'll try to cover. Is there any true chance of a draw here, says Adnan? I think so. There are chances always, but it does feel that Shakhriyar Mamedyarov has majorly things under control. One way that I can see him pressing for a win here, King C3 is something I do feel like a decent try. Rook G2 and Rook F4. You can take here, but let's say King E6. Then there's problem, because if you play B4, I have Rook G3, B5, and now King E5. Very strong move. And even if you do this, and I come here, Rook G3, B6, Rook G1, Rook G8, B7, and Rook B8 blocks the pawn. So after King F7, he went King E3 now. And he won. Oh, hello, Amruta.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Vidit Gujrathi is trying his best to hold this endgame. It seems difficult though.
But he has rook behind the pawn.
He
has double pawns also.
This is the big problem. If he had a good structure, it would have been a draw. But now king can sit here, check. Maybe these pawns are weak.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tough. Is this the only game going on? Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, listen, I just came here before I forget. I'll tell you something. चालू है, ध्यान रखना.
गैस चालू है तो मैं जाता हूँ.
नहीं, मैं जा रही हूँ तो तुम ध्यान रखना.
किसका?
गैस का.
तुम जा रही हो तो मैं क्यों रखूं? तुम उधर हो या मैं इधर? मैं जाऊं?
मैं अभी 20 मिनट क्यों खड़ी रहूंगी उधर?
20 मिनट लगता है गैस पे?
अरे खिचड़ी कौन चैट बनाएगा?
खिचड़ी तुम बना रहे हो?
अरे तो खाना नहीं है अपने घर पे, कुछ तो करना पड़ेगा ना. Didn't we say that we are making Maggie? No,
he had said that. We discussed it.
No.
I used to say that I'm a software developer. Come on. One of us can decide who takes care.
You take care. Chat will help you to remember.
Then where are you going?
I'm going to work.
अच्छा, okay.
ऐसे कैसे? मेरा काम मैं भूल जाती हूँ।
हाँ ठीक है ठीक है
सीटी का आवाज आएगा, ध्यान रखना बस।
ठीक है ठीक है. I'm a software developer and work on chess. So right now it's safe. हाँ अमृता, अभी safe है.
अभी लगाया, अभी सीटी वाली तो 10 मिनट तो लगेगा। मैं भी रखूंगी, तुमको भी बताती हूँ।
ठीक है ठीक है. So I used to say that I'm a software developer, work on chess tools and app in free time. Is there a specific problem statement with CBI looking for which you can post on the website? Would love to contribute. We have one Ayush already for help chess. We want to build certain tools where we are able to report better to, like the players can report better to us in terms of, right now we have like, we use WhatsApp groups, we use Google Sheets and Google Drive. So maybe we wanted to build that. So that's one thing. And yeah, one thing that's a very important problem statement in chess is the broadcast tools, which Rakshit to some extent has been very helpful by building the bars. And maybe there are more things that can be done a little bit more thoughtfully, which could help in the broadcast, but it's not so easy. Prabhas says, is it like I should not have a specific goal like FM title and instead focus? So Prabhas, this thing is, there are various ways in which people improve, right? So like, for example, Gukesh was very clear that he wanted to become the world champion. He spoke about it when he was young and then he managed to do it. There are few people for whom something, when they say that I want to become this or that, creates a lot of unnecessary pressure. And maybe it's roughly a decent idea that you have that a goal in mind, but then you kind of forget about it and just work towards in that direction, like on improvement. That could be a nice way to do it. I think it's a little tricky because the goal gives you direction, but then you just don't really focus on it so much. Like if you lose, or if you lose rating, many times people are like, oh, I wanted to become FM, now I'm losing rating, what to do? But then the approach could be, oh, I'm losing, I'm learning, I'm getting better, I'll get there someday, like that belief. So yeah. Kalesh, no, Kalesh nahi hai, all good. Saker says you should always have some goal and work towards it. Improvement is a part of it. Yeah, kind of correct. It's a little nuanced, right? To have a goal, but not have it so deeply that you get so frustrated when you don't reach there. So, like, have goals to give you direction, but don't get disappointed by it if you don't reach. Is there a possibility for black to turn around, says Taruchit Goyal? Maybe not, yeah. Maybe not. We'll stick here. I think game will get sharpened up soon because Vidit has less than 10 minutes. I personally do not prefer this time control anymore from a broadcast perspective. But from a chess perspective, you do understand. Like for example, after 40 moves, the players got time. Vidit got really good time to think his way through and is now holding his own. He's able to find good moves. Will try his best. But if he had no time, I'm pretty sure he would have collapsed. So for a good quality game, this 30 minutes makes a lot of sense. But from a broadcast perspective, the speed slows down considerably. Sudhanshu says, are you coming to Pune? Pune is like Amruta's home. So, coming there is always on the mind and on the cards. Thank you, Ayush, for your message. Saransh says, what do you think about Gukesh's recent form? Yeah, it's a very interesting topic to discuss. It's just that I'm very curious to see it in conjunction with the World Championship. I can't really decode Gukesh's performance and take it in isolation without the match. Because that's just part of his reality, right? He's the world champion, he'll play the match, he will prepare for it, and so on. And while every single player who plays in tournaments have one goal of doing well in those events that they are playing, Gukesh has two goals always: do well in that event, but also have in the back of your mind that you have to win the world championship. And so, and in chess, it really matters because you can't reveal some of your openings, you can't reveal some of your ideas, some novelties, and so on. So, I don't know how easy or difficult it is to be a world champion and to keep doing well. I think Magnus was a special case who really did well. I think Gary Kasparov was a special case there, who did well. But maybe the other players are struggling. I know that Vishy Anand also didn't solve this kind of problem completely when he was playing. He was winning world championship matches. He kept his title for 7 years, but somewhere he couldn't show his best chess in every tournament that he played. Sagar Bhai, Don Shah has gone to the cave. He's not visible these days. Hopefully, in the Olympiad, we can bring him back. What special in Magnus Hikaru that made them conquer chess, and why not other GMs? I would say Magnus is very different. Like, we cannot, at least for me, Magnus and Hikaru cannot be said in the same statement. I mean, as long as online chess is concerned, maybe yes, they both are very well accomplished. But when it comes to over the board achievements, Magnus's achievements are huge. Uh, he has 21 world titles. So he's really by far very, very special. I think a very good measure of a chess player is somehow their fitness levels. Yeah, like for example, you could see Arjun Erigaisi looked really fit in the video. I don't know if you guys noticed it, but he looked very fit. I am not sure if Arjun was not well or he worked out a lot. So we'll get to know in this tournament later. Himank is there from Team Chess from our team over there in Uzbekistan to cover this event. Himank is amazing. He has done interviews with Vidit and Nodirbek yesterday. Oh, Shak has made a move that is inaccurate, yeah, Erdo? Suddenly it's only 0.08 plus, which means that Vidit is back in the game. But I don't know. I mean, it's what move? Like, do you play Rook B2? Because nothing changes. He gives a check, King F4, I think. Yeah, King F4. Maybe Vidit holds this. Why is Sindarov not playing? I think he was in Norway chess. Senjit says, Sagarbai, do you think Magnus is losing his prime form? I don't know if Arjun is losing his, if Magnus is losing his form. I just know that after a specific age, you can't dedicate all your time to chess and or all your energy or your mental focus. And I don't know what is Magnus's current state. If he is able to do that, I'm pretty sure he can stay world number one or the best in the world for even more years. But yeah, life happens. You get married, you have kids, you have other priorities, other responsibilities, and sometimes we are just too hard on the world class players. They have to I don't know if they can manage everything. So he goes king d2. I think Sakar chess for Shak to push the pawn. He's a bit afraid that side checks will start. So he's waiting. And now Vidit goes rook g1 and maybe it's a draw. So maybe Shakhriyar Mamedyarov had to perhaps be careful here instead of rook b8, rook b1. Here, perhaps he had to go for this idea with f4 already. f4, rook here, king f2, rook here, and then push the pawn. And then maybe check, king e3, check. And now you are in time to get the... Oh, this is anyway hanging. Yeah, somehow he just messed it up with rook b7. And he's played rook b4, right? He's played rook b4. This is the main board position. Okay. You know, guys, one of the biggest questions that we get on this channel in the live chat is that I am on X rating, I'm on 1000, I'm on 1100, I'm on 1200. I'm not able to get better. What can I do? And I feel like this is one question that I want to solve somehow. I know the solution to it, how to do this. I just don't know how logistically to make it happen. So one of the things that we began with was called Dr. Chess. And so the people who are, let me put this sort of problem in like proper terms. So the thing is, people who are trying to seek improvement, some are really serious, some are like, okay, if it happens, it's good. I don't want to spend too much money. I just want to get better. But you know, if I get better, I may spend at some point and so on. So there needs to be some resource which helps to improve. By the way, king f7 played. I think the reason why Vidit did not take this pawn is because of rook f4. And then here and b4 and rook b1 and king c2. And he's not able to stay on the b file. So he stays here now. He doesn't really get tempted by this. And now rook f4 and king e6 is what Vidit has to bring his king up. So in that sense, this is the problem, right? Yeah. And so this entire idea of how to improve becomes really very interesting for me. b4 pushed. And I want to create something that is affordable for people, at the same time leads to actual improvement. And one of the ways that I've realized is by looking at their games. This is actually one of the key ways in which one can improve and get direction, except apart from the fact if you have a coach all the time. If you have a coach all the time, it's a completely different story than if you don't have a coach. And if you don't have a coach, then your games are your biggest source of information, is what I feel. So then using that and using the methods of Dr. Chess that were developed, how can something be created that can actually help people improve? Is how I want to create something, and maybe I'm thinking on it, working on it. On depth 65, says Erdo, it's 0.00. That is crazy, Erdo. It's amazing what you... depth 65 is like 32 moves deep. 65 ply means one move per side. But I think this is an amazing thing for Vidit Gujrathi, that he is handling this endgame so well. So well. Hey, Vidit, finish too quickly. There's an exam tomorrow. Nice. Vortex says, apart from ChessBase India, which chess channels are best for improvement? So, I mean, there are so many. There's one channel called Hanging Pawns that people have recommended. There is a channel by, I think, Noel Studer, pretty good one. He's a GM. Who else? I think Chess Mood by my friend Avatic Gregorian is a good place to improve. Killer Chess Training is a good resource. Suyog Wag has been making good content. He's an IM. He's doing good job. Yeah, I'm just thinking more. Gotham Chess, I would say, of course, improvement, but perhaps not the serious kind of improvement that you're looking for. So, yeah, he's for sure. I mean, if you're not yet convinced that you like chess, then Gotham Chess is the best. Once you are convinced that you like it and you want to get seriously into it, then maybe you don't need someone who's entertaining. You need someone who's more nuanced, perhaps. Yeah, if Ramesh is doing something on chess, then that would be great. He is really, really good with chess improvement. Airlearn is good for absolute beginners to get going in chess and to get better at it, for sure. I like the app actually. I will be in Hong Kong, Agam, yes. Sagar, our machine makes around 600 million moves per second. And with all 7-man table bases also, this is why he comes so deeply. Wow. Erdo, the machine is crazy. Yeah, this is also one of the things which is needed when you become a strong player. You need a strong machine, and with really good setup. I think setting up such a machine can cost somewhere between 50,000 euros to 100,000 euros. I think maybe, Erdo, you can correct me if I'm wrong there. But these supercomputers are quite expensive. It's 50 lakhs to 1 crore. Sagar, do you have a series on YouTube for improvement? Yes, Vortex. You can just go on our channel front page. There's a chess improvement. There are many series and video playlists on improvement. What should Vidit Bhai play now? I mean, first instinct is to take the pawn, but that's wrong because b5 and your rook is misplaced. You want to go behind, but the moment you go behind, the rook comes behind and it starts pushing the pawn. So that's the reason why Vidit has to begin with putting his rook behind the pawn, and that is a must. And I think he'll do it. Rook b1. It's the most natural move, I think. Erdo says this machine takes 500 euros of just electricity bill per month. That's crazy. That's almost 50,000 rupees per month as electricity, and the cost is 50k dollars, so 50k euros, which is like 50 lakh rupees. Is Airlearn free of cost? Yes, Airlearn is free of cost right now. And we have 5 of them. Oh. 5 machines of 50k dollars, 50k euros. That's crazy. Yeah, Evren, who is a billionaire in Turkey, He is doing incredible work for Turkish youngsters, supporting them. He loves chess. He's also helping few of the kids beyond Turkey as well. As a member of CJP, I demand resignation from Shak. Nice one. I think I'll go to Uzbekistan. Well, Bold says. Who's going to play on board one for India in the next chess Olympiad? That is a good question. I think all of you are really, really keen on knowing what happens in the Olympiad. By the way, Vidit needs to move. Come on. I mean, he has no other options, right? He can play king e6. That's true. He can play king e6, but then the white king comes forward. So rook b1 is just like a must move. I don't know what. Maybe he's trying to make something else work in his mind, like take b5. I don't know. He's thinking, what if I go back? Yeah, rook b1 played. Let's go. Good move. Sagar bhai, what special thing will you do on 3 million? I think you should make a music video. Okay, Mayur, that's a good idea. Maybe you can do something else, right? Maybe we can do tournaments in several places or something like that, like in across India. That's a great question, Agam. If you could commentate on any historical game live, which one would it be? By the way, tough moment for Vidit now. Has to find a move rook b2. How would you even understand rook b2 is the move? Maybe it's just you have to stay on the file, and if you move the king back, that's not good because it comes here. So you want to keep the king here. So rook b2, but then king c4. Rook b2 with it. He goes rook g1. I don't know if rook g1 is the best move. Now b5. b5 wins. b5 wins. b5 wins. He had to stop b5. Yeah. Shak wins now. I think this is what Shak needed. Just b5. If you go back, king c4, and then the pawn is just going to get home. I guess Vidit missed something because rook b2 staying here connected with the pawn would be so nice. You know, if now king c4, rook check. Okay, it's pretty tricky. And once the king goes in front of the pawn, go to g2. Sorry, go to g2 and take the pawn. By the way, we have Ariv who has contributed to Help Chess. Thank you so much, Ariv. And look at this. After rook takes g3, here is the very key move. King e3, and now rook b4 is coming, and Vidit can resign. Yeah, rook g1 was double question mark move. Well, in this tournament, you have to continue writing the moves till the end because you have 30-second increment. In Norway chess, you did not. Sakar chess says he's planning rook g8 and this, but after rook b4, rook here, b6. This is passive, and then the white king will come in at some point and pick up everything. So close, yeah, so close. Actually, the thing is here, rook b2, king c3, rook g2 now. And it's a very subtle difference because you've lured the king a little bit further away. So after b5, rook g3. Now the problem is that the rook, king e3 is not possible because the king is not on d3. King went to c3. So you have to go here, give me this pawn. We saw this line, rook g3, b6, rook back, and stop, and you have the f passer. So it was all a question of one move that Vidit couldn't find. Can you describe your CA journey? Ooh. My CA journey, I feel one night was like the best night in my life. when I was studying for CA. I was reading something that was really tough, and I had read it for several days and hadn't understood that concept, or I don't even remember what I was studying. But I remember that night I was on the bed, like there were books, and I was solving, and I just was reading, solving, doing it, and it took like time was just passing, and like 6 hours passed. It was morning, 8 a.m., and I had actually understood everything in that topic. And at that point, I was maybe one of the best days of my studying journeys. Like, I just enjoyed it so much that night. I didn't even realize how time went by, how I was learning. Maybe it's moments like these which are more memorable than everything else, I guess. 3 million pay COB tour. Bangalore. Oh, 3 million pay you can do a tour. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Sagar, there is not so much focus on chess in North India. It's reality. Well, it is improving. Things are improving. They will improve. Why not king c3 after rook b2? Teji. Teji, the thing was, we analyzed this. If king c3 here, and now you go here. So what happened in the game was, because Vidit went directly here and then took, Shak got this move. But if you had provoked him to come to c3 and then went here, then there is no chance to come to e3 for the king. It's a very subtle point. And now Shak pushes b6, rook b7, and rook b4. Yeah, Erdo, I think you're right. I mean, it's just winning completely. Yeah, winning is easy. I think with it may not be able to hold this. He goes king d5, but I mean just king f4, king c5, rook b1. What do you don't even have counterplay. You take here, I take. You take here, I take. I win all the pawns. It's over. Famous Pankha says, Sagar bhai, give a shout out. I've been commenting for long. Arey bhai, shout out bhai. Math Exposed says, Sagar bhai, I live near Bhopal. I used to play chess in my village and I defeated every player in my village. I used to play without queen, so a balanced game could happen. Bapre. Crazy. Nice story. This Indian IM had a story of Anand's greatness. He goes up to Anand's room and challenges him to blitz games. Anand adopts him while reading a chess magazine at the same time. Yeah, that's Sarvanan, I think. I remember. Ishant Gadwa says, Sagar bhai, death match happening anytime soon. So I was telling someone about death matches. It was like a very interesting concept that we began with. Oh, by the way, why did Shak rook b4? The move order was different. Actually, he didn't play king d5. He first gave a check. Okay, got it. King d3 and now king d5, of course. And that explains what Vidit has done. But I can make a waiting move, and you are running out of moves. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have all the moves in the world. But you move the rook, I push the pawn. You move the king, my king comes up. You move f5, I wait. You need to give up a move. You go king c5, I go king c3. You go king d5. I don't know. Maybe I give a check. You go here. Oops, sorry. King c6. I could go king c4. Yeah, you can see Shak waiting there. Rook b1. Khidash says Kasparov once said on the Polgar sisters, she has fantastic chess talent, but she's after all a woman. It comes down to the imperfection. Well, the thing is, Polgar did beat Kasparov, so that did put everything to rest. By Chaitanya says, Sagar, when did you choose to be chess coach and start Chess Base India? Because you are CA, it's because chess. The thing is, um, most of the things in my life have been happening simultaneously. So there was never a phase where I was like, oh, this is the moment. So, like when I was studying for CA is when I was playing chess. I was playing chess is when I was studying for CA. Then when I was playing chess or teaching chess is when Chess Base India began. So everything was simultaneous. And perhaps I didn't have that much courage in me, or maybe I was not meant to be that person who had only one thing to do all the time, like one single minded focus, like that. So even right now, if you look at the way I function in Chess Base India, I'll always have multiple projects going on, at least for myself, if not for the entire team. And I just like doing things that way. How do you say, like you put your eggs in many baskets or don't put them in one basket, something like that. But I do understand the other approach and I respect it immensely. For example, someone like a Gukesh or a Prag or anyone just put all their eggs in one basket. Yeah, I also met Amruta while playing chess, so it was also no, but Vortex, you can't really win the pawn at all. Like take, king d5, and the king just rounds up all the pawns. So I think this is the moment where Vidit will resign, I think. When will the venue of now king d5 just. Venue of the World Championship will be announced, I think, shortly. FIDE is working on it. Yeah, the deathmatch story was like we did do deathmatch 1, 2, and then at some point these youngsters rose so quickly that they started playing death matches in the topmost tier events. So maybe it's time to have a new format. One of the formats that I was thinking now, which could be really interesting, is to do the Super Juniors Cup, which is like for below 13 years old players in India or below 12, and do it in person somewhere to find the next set of talents in the country who are really, really good. Something like that. Okay, Vidit can resign now. I think there's no. Sagar bhai, love your dedication from Pakistan. I think Pakistan chess is kind of oh, by the way, an insane trap Vidit has set. He set an insane trap. If you do this, I mean, it's not like done, but what's the move for an insane trap? Black to play. Let's see how many of you can find it. Suresh Kumar, Chessbase India started in 2016. Actually, 2015 end, but 2016 is when we incorporated the company. Ali Reza can make a comeback. I mean, he's so good. He will. He will. Yes. Arsh, Sundardev, Chess Army. Very good. Rook c7 check. And this is a stalemate. So this is the idea that Vidit could have potentially. And so Shak goes Rook a5. King b8. Rook a7. He takes. And that's done now. Vidit can. I wonder why Vidit is playing on. So, well bowled Saki says that seeing Gukesh and Prag play in Norway chess, I felt so bad that we don't get to see them play in a national championship. Yeah, I personally think India does need its own top 10 players of India national championship now. We hope to do something about it, hopefully, soon. Okay, this is the moment that Vidit kind of thinks through his decision and resigns, I believe. But he gave a good fight. I think it was a good fight. He fought well. He tried his best. Shak really played well today in the middle game. In the end game, I think Vidit had his chance there. This rook b2 move, which he couldn't find. And yeah, it's done. Okay, he plays king d6. Maybe he's hoping for something. Finally, king f5. Sagar, by turn off the gas. I think Amruta turned it off. I'll just check. Yeah, thank you. I did turn it off. Okay, I went and he resigned there. So Mamedyarov wins 3 decisive games today. Mamedyarov beats Vidit, Madamino beats Nepo, and Nicholas beats Hans Niemann. Did Vidit immediately say Rook b2? Maybe. Time control is 90 minutes for 40 moves and then 30 extra minutes for the remaining game. Watching Vidit after so long. Yeah, I think we are all very happy to see Vidit playing here. It's just amazing to see him in action. I hope he's able to play well the remaining games. It was a tough game for him. I think the arbiter needs to really move away from there and to let us see the players. Yeah, if the players have the eval bar when they are playing, you can see their accuracy going up by leaps and bounds. I mean, them just knowing that it's good for them is good enough. Okay, guys, I will end the stream and yeah, we'll be back tomorrow with more chess. Thank you all for following the UzChess Cup, this tournament. I hope both Vidit and Arjun do well. And there are other interesting players like Nepo, Hans Niemann, Nodirbek Abdusattorov. So let's follow this tournament and see you all, guys. Take care. Bye bye.